first idea of the Hackfest is that you should have a virtual machine with all the images of the virtual routers and also TerraFlow. But we discovered that the virtual images in Container Lab doesn't support BGPLS. So we need to find a new way to can implement this Hackfest. So we discovered EVNG that it's similar to Container Lab. You upload the virtual images of the router and you can use it in a graphical view or also via telnet via CLI. So this is very similar to Container Lab or the other tools similar to this. So with EVNG, you have a lot of tools to manage the information of the routers. You can manage the interfaces, can capture the traffic, connect the router with the outside with public IP, whatever you want. That's not only for a virtual environment, so you can connect physical devices with this virtual environment and have connectivity with all the devices. For example, for the Hackfest, you are going to use virtual routers that are connected to a virtual machine and you have connectivity between them. So it's this, that we have connectivity with virtual and physical devices. You can study a lot of technologies. For example, you can try new protocols in a virtual environment instead of using the physical, and you can learn how it will modify the network. For example, you can combine some protocol for the interior gateway protocol as ISIS, OSPF, and you can see how the devices manage all these protocols. And if there's some type of problems combining all of them. For example, we combine in physical devices LLDP, LDP, BGP, and it crashes the device. So in this case, if you crashes a virtual device, you can wipe it, restart, and nothing happens, instead of having problems in the network. So in this case, to use EVNG, you have to install the software version in a server. You can create a partition or give all the space of the server. In this case, we give all the space of the server, so EVNG is all the server. And to enter to the EVNG and manage this information, you have a menu with a user password, and you have all the information of the network that you would create. As I explained, you can monitor with WireShack the packets of the interfaces in real time. So it's very useful, and you use other tools and later have the pickup and open it in WireShack. You have also like a Ubuntu vision of the EVNG, and if you are connected via SSH to the router and you are seeing the CLI of the device. So at the end, it's very useful because it simulates the real topology and you can access to all the devices, and it's like you are connected to the physical device instead of a virtual. So with the EVNG, to add new node to the topology, you only need to have the virtual image of the device. So you upload it to EVNG, and here when you click to add new node, you have all the virtual images that you have. Now I'm not going to explain it in detail because I'm going to explain it later with the demo of the BGPLS. So here you can manage the image, the number of devices that you want to create, the name of the devices. For example, if you write Cisco and you want 10 devices, it will write Cisco 1, Cisco 2. It's very useful to identify the routers. Also, you can give the RAM, the CPUs, the number of interfaces that you want to create, and other parameters that normally we use by default. And there's the list of all the parameters that you can configure in EVNG. Normally, I only configure the boot image, the name. I set the CPUs and the RAM as the image required, and the name of interfaces. To create topologies, it's easy. Before starting the device, you have the symbol of a plug. So you have to click it and move to the device that you want to create the link. So you create the link, you can select the interfaces that you want to connect in each device. In this case, it's a Cisco, so I use the interface Gigabit Ethernet 1. And if you go inside the router, you can see the configuration of the interface. That it's interface 0 with this IP. As I explained, at the end, this is the virtual image of a physical device. So at the end is as you are connecting to a physical device. You can create the topologies as complex as you want. For example, 3 routers with a switch. All the links that you want, unidirectional, bidirectionals, with final users, with data centers. If you want to connect it with the outside, you can. Also, you can add figures at the background to identify the network, the areas. And as I explained, to connect to the outside, you need this object that it's like the management, that it's connected to the card of the server, and it goes to the network. So it's a way to connect the virtual router with the server and to the outside. So here the problem is to have free the IPs that you want to use. For example, if you want to use 30 routers, you will need 30 IPs free to use. And this is the topology that we are going to use in the Hackfest. We have 3 different areas of VDP and a router reflector to have all the information. And each router has its own management with their own IP. For the links, we can have the information capturing in the EVNG interface. We can select the router, capture, and interface, and it will open a tab with Wireshark, so we are seeing the traffic in real time. Or also, we can connect via CLI to the device and monitoring the telemetry that we can retrieve from each type of device. In this case, we can have the status of the interface with a TCP dump capturing the traffic in the interface instead of using Wireshark. That's all. I'm not explaining this in detail because I'm going to explain this later in the demo. But if you want to ask me to do an example of uploading a device or creating links, I can do it now.